right, welcome to the Drag Drive Repeat Show, episode 162, presented by Summit Racing Equipment. Tonight's going to be awesome. We have Larry Larson on the show, fresh off of his win at Hot Rod by Havlik's Fastest Street Car Shootout. He's going to talk about the weekend. We're going to talk about Drop the Hammer, which is another event that he attended, and his upcoming return to Hot Rod Drag Week after being away for 10 years. So going to be pretty awesome there. And we're also going to talk about some updates, other racers that are going to be at Drag Week that could potentially challenge the S10. So it's going to be pretty awesome. We are working through some microphone things with Larry right now. So we will get started. I'm going to hit the intro, and then we're going to jump right into the show. All right, you're muted.
All right. Hey, there we go. Oh, man. What a day. Hey, that's the way it goes sometimes when we're getting wound up here, and I'm excited. So I don't know if you just noticed the notes, but I moved some stuff around. I want to go ahead and get Larry in because we have good stuff now, good audio and things like that. So we'll just kick this thing off. Guys, my name is Mike Knox. I'm the host of the show you're watching now and the news that happens on Saturday. And I cannot wait till this weekend's news because, dude, it's all stats, the whole show. So I hope everybody's getting ready. Mr. Eric White, to introduce yourself.
I am Eric White, co-host of the show and news, and we are both fresh off of our trip to Havlik's as well, where we both had our vehicles for the first time together. And let me tell you, you and I spent a lot of time in the 240 this weekend.
Bro, it was awesome. It was awesome. We're going to talk about that in depth on Saturday as well because, man, there's so many good stories that came from Havlik's as far as everybody saw the rear end replacement. They didn't see the 4 trips to town in the 240 and all that kind of stuff. So let's get this thing going, guys. You know how this works. We can't do this without you guys. So I'm begging you, I'm pleading you, hit that share button as we jump in here to one of our top shows of the year. I'm telling you, this is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to cover Havlik's. We're going to cover Drop the Hammer. We're going to talk about Drag Week, and we're going to talk about some other stuff with Mr. Larry Larson. So it's going to be kind of fun. Excited to do that. And of course, couldn't make these trips, couldn't do these shows, couldn't do all that stuff without our sponsors. So if you're spending some money, if you're doing some shopping, we always ask you, just hit these folks up, see if they got what you need. Summit Racing, of course, our title sponsor here at the show and the news and the circuit. Then we got Deechworks, our title sponsor for the racer party at the circuit, one of our brand sponsors here, and the title sponsor for the short circuit event coming up in November. Molly Motorsports, of course, baddest Pistons in the game. You're going to run them in your Mustang. I'm really excited about this car coming together. Driven Racing Oil, we were just talking about that on the show before we hit go live because we're trying to figure out what oil for you to run in the car. So it's going to be really fun. And of course, Howard's Cams, J-Wire Solutions, AFCO Racing Products, Performer Built Transmissions, Car Change 3D, and Low Dollar Motorsports. Man, if you can't get behind some of those brands and make your car faster or better, it's not necessarily about being faster. Maybe it's about being better, like I needed the old truck to be, So give those folks a call. And then let's let Mr. Brian Loans tell us about some of this stuff going on at Summit. And then we're going to bring in Mr. Larry Larson.
What does it mean to be built with Summit? It means you're hitting the autocross, drag strip, road course, trail, dirt, or open road with confidence. Because built with Summit means you're using parts from the top names in performance. Priced to make your project affordable. And it's all backed by trusted tech expertise and blazing fast shipping. Summit Racing Equipment. Let's build it together. SummitRacing.com.
Well, you guys know while you're on Summit and you're shopping for that cool, fun stuff, we've got some discount codes that are available through the end of the month. That's 50 off 500 and 100 off 1,000 or more. Grab you some of that Drag Driver Pete Summit branded merch while you're in there as well. All right, sir, let's bring this guest on. That'll kind of scoot some things around a little bit. So I want you guys to hang tight because we've got some stuff we'll talk about after Larry's guest appearance here as well. So this segment's going to be brought to us by Molly Motorsports. Man, I'm telling you, these guys are awesome. Not just supporters of us here at Drag Driver Pete, but also all the other drag and drive events that are out there. I think they're involved in all those, but they're also racers as well. Eric Grillio running a 10-second stick shift Nova. You know, that's right up our alley. And George Wright, of course, running his 700 or 800 probably horsepower Duster now. So I'll hit this intro and then we will get into the man of the hour.
Looking for a forged piston kit for your vehicle? You need Molly Motorsport Power Pack. What is Power Pack? It's the ultimate forged piston kit that comes complete with pistons, performance file fit rings, hot string steel pins, and clips, all engineered to work together. So all you have to do is build something great. Find your Power Pack at mollymotorsport.com.
All right, sir. Lead us in, man. Tell us who we got, what we got going on.
Like I said at the beginning of the show, we've got Larry Larson here. We're going to talk about the Havlik's Fastest Street Car Shootout. We're going to talk about Drop the Hammer and his return to Drag Week after 10 years. So super excited about this.
All right, man, let's bring him on. The man of the hour, Mr. Larry Larson. Dude, it was really fun hanging out with you this weekend. I'll say this. You weren't opposed to giving us some shit by the end of the weekend, and I appreciated it, you know. It was a good time.
Hey, play stupid game, win stupid tricks. Or win stupid prizes. How's that sound?
I'll tell you what, we did play some stupid games with that old truck, man. It was brutal. Had one of your guys weld up a lift block for me. You had to help me come put in the U-joint. I mean, it was a pretty brutal weekend. I felt less of a man not being able to get all that stuff done for myself.
As long as you made it home with front brakes, you're good to go.
Yeah, hey, I'm telling you, it worked out well. It only rained on me one time, and I only got sketched out once. And I hit a transition on a bridge. Shooey, but I thought I was fixing lane change. So it was pretty interesting. No rear shocks, no rear brakes. I've done some dumb things, but driving that 600 miles, that's probably right up there with one of the dumbest.
Hey, tell me you did a burnout when you got home just because there's no rear brakes.
Oh, 100%. I turned and I could coast to my house if I broke something. I laid it out, but I didn't get any recording of it because I was scared I was going to be, trying to wheel that thing. I didn't want to do it with one hand and a camera out the window, So I hadn't pulled it apart yet, but so maybe I'll get one in the street coming up here the next day or so. Well, let's talk about Havlik's, man, because to me, that was our first opportunity, like Eric and I's first opportunity to see the truck, I guess probably since I came over to Drag Week 2014 when it was at Tulsa and got to watch you guys make the changeover. You were changing turbos and tires and all that stuff, and it blew my mind. That was 2014. That was the last time I had seen the truck in person, I guess. So it was pretty cool to see you out and about, and we got some really good shots of you driving, so that was pretty badass too.
Yeah, it was fun. I had good intentions going last year, and I don't remember what came up, but I couldn't make it. So this year I just told them, I said, look, I'll make it up to you. I'll try and bring all three. So worked out good. It was pretty cool to have all three of them there. Even when I had the Cadillac, I don't think I had all three of them running at one time. So it's pretty cool.
That was awesome. And so where we pitted, I guess it was the OG on the big tire, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was right in front of us. And, man, the people were all over that thing. There was always a constant line of people looking at that thing.
Yeah, it's been a crowd favorite for a long time, and then everybody comes up and asks, "Is that the car that was used to be pink?" And I was like, "Yep, that's it."
That's awesome. The pit stayed pretty wild over there in your spot. What is servicing 3 cars like? What's that like trying to keep that all together?
Well, once again, we didn't race the old car, the original car. Race the truck. That was my big concentration. They opened up that 8 mile shootout race for small tires, and I thought, well, I'll race the small tire car, which I felt kind of bad because here we go again. Everything up there had a tag on and everything, and that thing didn't. So I felt kind of bad. So it spun the yoke in the drive shaft and the carbon shaft on the first run. So to park it and let everybody else have their fun, really didn't hurt my feelings. Good side, downside, that would have been the next run at King of the South. So I'm glad it got rained out.
Yeah, that could have been bad. A guy like you, do you carry an extra drive shaft with you? Is that something that is a normal process?
A lot of guys do. I have, but I don't have one for that. So it's just pretty rare that you hurt one. I mean, if you break a wishbone or something like that, then yeah, you'll hurt one. But normally that's not the case.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it was cool to see those cars go down. I want to talk about the truck too, because the truck, I would think the folks that were watching from home, we definitely had a lot of really good views on the truck and the small tire car making passes on drag drive repeat. But I didn't get your fastest pass. Off the trailer, this Sunday goes 620. Like the first half down, kind of put everybody on their ear, like, oh man, we're in trouble. So that was pretty awesome to see. And then it just got faster. Like a 617, and didn't you run like a 609 or something like that?
We did. Give me a second, guys. I'm kind of unprepared tonight, unfortunately. Trying to plug the phone in before it does. I was trying to do this on my laptop, and it was having no part of it. So, all right, we're good now. Sorry, I apologize.
Right.
We had a loaded one 620. We put a fresh set of tires on, and I'm like, okay, or whatever. I don't even know what it went first, but anyway, the last qualifier went 609, and the goal was to try and go 590s up there that weekend, get a hot tune up. Same thing Dunphy was trying to do in Bristol on Sunday. So I felt like we were there. And then first round of elimination, it dropped 2 holes. Ignition issues, it appears. We went back, changed a couple things. It still dropped 1 hole in the final and went 617. So it is what it is. I mean, we still won the event, but I was disappointed that we didn't go any faster than we did, unfortunately. So going out this weekend to try and test some more here and see if we can get everything lined out.
So you'll be at Flying H this weekend, I take it?
Yes.
Somewhere else you got planned, yeah. So that'll be a good one. With the race being at Cordova, did that sway it a little bit as your plan to do drag week and then racing at Cordova just here? I mean, we're a month before drag week. Was that kind of did that help? Do you think that helped with the tuning?
Oh, I won't say it helps the tune, but it just helps with where you're going because that's one of the tracks we have. So yeah, I've got to look at it. I know what lane has a bump, doesn't have a bump, where the bump's at, if there is one. So it's just, you get a little insight on it. No different than going Byron or anywhere else to test. So it just happened to work out that the Havlik's fastest street car was there instead of somewhere else. So yeah, it worked out good. It was 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, Red Hat Scotty said he's announcing at Flying H this weekend. That'll be cool. You'll have to, Red Hat, I expect updates. Like immediate updates.
We'll be out there probably Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I would say. So it's going to be hotter than toast. So yeah, if I can get it to go 590s when it's 96 or 8 degrees out there, I should be in good shape for drag week.
Yeah, I mean, surely we won't have those kind of temps up there, but who knows what it could be in September in the middle of Illinois.
Right.
Yeah, you just don't know. So I just want a nice, safe 590 tune-up, hopefully, like everybody does, and see if we can go down. And once again, that's going to be a huge feat. So we'll work towards that this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, and we're going to talk about drag week in a minute, but like that's a 590's been done one time and barely. Like is a 5.998. I mean, like that's a huge undertaking, fastest pass ever. But like that tells you how many times, I mean, how many hundreds of or how many thousands of passes have been made during drag week, and we've had one in the 5. So I think the internet makes it sound easy, but it's definitely not.
No, not at all. Sometimes I don't think it's as hard as what some of these guys make it look, but it's also not easy.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that truck's been super fast, super fast this weekend. And last question I got here on Havlik's. So, lining up in the big tire drag and drive shootout there, you took on Brian Goldstone in the javelin. Looking back, you guys crossed paths in previous events, previous drag weeks way back in the day, and then also. So it's Brian Goldstone and then Joe Barry. You guys had also kind of crossed some paths in the past. So what was it like to get back in the mix with, some of the OG drag week guys?
Yeah, I saw Brian at Eddyville for their night of fire at the end of June, and so we ran up there when the Corvette was still running then. Joe, I hadn't been out and seen his car to the track in quite a few years, so it was fun. I told Joey, his son, I said, man, it just feels like the band's back together. I mean, yeah, there's some guys missing, but still pretty cool. I mean, Annette there, and it's just a really cool vibe. I wish those couple of cars of Monty's were there. I wish Moran would get off his lazy whatever and bring Casper back. There's some other cars out there that would be really cool that I guarantee the people would like to see. So it's still a cool event, and I don't know if you'll ever get them all there at one time, but damn it, it'd be cool if they would.
Well, and for a guy like you that does, that has been in it as long as you have, I mean, like, did you ever make any of the trips to Memphis and do any of those events down there? Or go
I never did. I never did pump gas drags. I never, I was a magazine reader. I was out, and at that point in time, I was still early '90s. I was still in Western Kansas as a diesel mechanic. So my Nova I bought in '88, and it was a back half car with a single 468 in it and a Doug Nash 5-speed. So I drove it a lot, and then moved to Topeka in early '90s, '93, '4, and in '94 then cut it up and made it a tube car. And it's crazy because watching all those guys run the FSC back then was an inspiration to doing it. But in the same token, I couldn't afford to go do that, and didn't have wasn't competitive. So I built it to what I wanted, and then it really wasn't legal for anything back then. The firewall had been moved back and blah, blah, blah. So, it was a battle between a couple of us in Topeka at the time to be the first street car in the 8s over there. And the other guy had a nitrous car that was 57 Chevy that was, like I said, we had at it, and we both finally got in the 8s about a week apart. So it was pretty cool.
Wow. That's badass.
Well, on the Havlik stuff, did you have the S10 and drag and drive trim, even though the drive was a short drive? It was only like 60 miles.
Yeah, I mean, everybody argues about this whole drag and drive trim. There's one guy that's just been beating me up on the internet, which I'd like to dot his nose. But, everybody has different opinion of stuff, okay? So I don't know what the actual definition of drag and drive trim is. I mean, I don't have bullhorns on mine when I drive it. It's nice and quiet, if you guys heard it. I got side pipes on it. It's nice and quiet. Radiators in it. It's all good to go. Street tires, legal everything. Turn signals, 4 ways. It's got it. And these other guys, everybody has their own way of doing stuff, and they got, mine's still steel roof and quarters and factory rockers on the truck. So these other guys bought a body from Harry's or 5-Star or whoever, and it's a pro mod car with headlights on it. So everybody has their own definition of what's going on and how they want to do it. So there are no rules. I still remember Freiberger standing on that tailgate or on his whatever it was that first year in '05 in Kansas City when this started, and there was 41 of us and nobody had a damn clue. He said, if WJ thinks he can bring his pro stock car in here and drive that thing 1,000 miles, then more power to him. Bring it on.
That's awesome. Yeah, I want to. I grabbed a shot here that Eric had posted up earlier. Man, the truck looks so cool. But yeah, the side pipes definitely getting the sound back behind the driver and passenger window helps a ton as far as sound quality and drivability, right?
Yeah, I've never been a fan of loud pipes, even when I was a teenager. If I want to go do a burnout on the block away from the cops, I don't want them to hear it. Everybody else wants to be loud and rowdy, and I've always been about being nice and quiet and sneaky, I guess. So that's just I hate loud stuff. So yeah, I've worked hard to make that thing quiet, and it is to make it that way. I mean, I had a couple guys come up this weekend and ask me about what have you done? You got baffles in them. You did this and did that. We're tired of the bullhorns. And I'm like, it's easy.
Yeah. Just put turbos on it. Turbos chop up the exhaust, and it makes it
Yeah, but they're still obnoxious.
So what's a changeover look like for you then between driving on the street and running at the track?
When I built that thing, nobody had there'd been a couple guys build. David Hocus had taken a promo car and made it a street car. Uh, he struggled a little bit with it, but that was his emphasis on it. So when I did mine, I was like, you know what, I'm still going to take an original Chevrolet GM, truck, and make a pro mod car out of it, however you want to say it. So I did it, but I also wanted to try and make it as light as I could when I raced it. So the radiator comes out of it, the water pump hooks to the radiator, the trans cooler hooks to the radiator, all that slides off. The gas fuel cell comes out of it. The exhaust comes off of it. We weld at the time made me some of those front wheels that slide off there, and I can slide the front runners back on it. I put air shocks on it to drive it so I can adjust the back of the truck up and down with the trailer on it. And, I put the race shocks back on the rear, raise the front up about 1.5 inches. I mean, just a whole bunch of little stuff. It takes two guys about an hour to turn it. But that's how I wanted to do it. I wanted to try and make it where it was easy to do, but yet there's still a fair amount of stuff to change.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I remember you guys changing turbos in 2014 or some shit like that. I was like, what are these guys doing?
No, I'm not that ate up. No, it's always got the same turbos on it. Really don't change anything at all on some of the guys, the nitrous guys especially change rocker arms and stuff like that. We don't do any of that. Basically swap it over from alcohol to gas, put the exhaust on it, which is a clamp and a pin. I mean, that's easy. So, but as far as turbos and any of that stuff goes, no, we never changed any of that.
That's awesome. Well, the other shot that we caught there, this was after the huge photo shoot, which I thought was so freaking badass. And then we're all kind of standing there. Your truck's the last one to be on the track, and Teresa's standing there, and Eric's getting shots. Like, he's all over this thing, and Richard Brewer, Dirty Panda's flying the drone around it and all that stuff. And then was it him or was it Teresa that was like, would you want the other cars here too?
Yeah, it was Teresa. She said, do you want me to see if he'll bring the other two cars up? And I was like, yes, I do.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. We talked about it earlier in the week, but it just kind of went over my head. I was thinking about all the stuff we had to do, but then when they said that, and everybody was peeling out of there, and I was just letting everybody go, and then, like I said, the truck ended up being last, so it worked out pretty cool. It was fun giving you guys both a ride too, so that you got to experience a little bit of both of them.
Yeah, listen, that made my year, man. I'll tell you right now, it was pretty awesome to be able to be in that seat and just, the history of that truck and all the cool stuff. And then you, of course, all the stuff you've done in drag and driving and all the other parts of the drag race world, it's pretty neat. So I appreciate that opportunity.
Yes, sir.
Eric, what was the other? We'll go back to those here in a minute. We talked about Drag Week. What else we got here in this first segment? What other stuff? I mean, was there Was there anybody that you guys were helping wrench on stuff other than us, trying to keep their stuff going? Tom McGilton came up with you guys, right?
Yeah, Tom's a good customer and friend of mine. I was helping him tune on his stuff a little bit. And then Greg Sanford was on the other side. He actually owns the engine that's in the small tire car. We've been good friends since probably 17 or 18. So helping him a little bit with his 55, and I guess that's about it. But that had me running pretty good there for a while.
Yeah, that's for sure. Jason Hurley's asking. Yeah, go ahead, Eric.
Jason Hurley wants to know, what does the truck weigh in race trim?
Memory serves me, I haven't put it on the scales this year, but I think it's 2850.
Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. It's amazing to me how much extra weight the street stuff brings. You start adding all the water and radiator and pumps and all that extra stuff, and it can really it adds up quickly.
Yeah, it surely does, and some of the guys got completely carbon bodies, and that's worth probably a couple hundred pounds, 150 to 200. So once again, I tried to I forgot too. I take out the passenger seat, I take out the dash, which it's carbon, no big deal. But then I've got a set of steel doors with mirrors and roll-up windows that we put on it to drive down the highway, so we can roll down the windows or roll them up if it rains, whatever the case, and they're sealed and all that. And then we put carbon doors on it when we race it. So that's the other thing that we changed. But just all the little stuff like that, I've seen some of the guys run them with no transmission tunnels, transmission exposed in the car, which is unbelievably hot. This thing's hot enough as it is, or windows that don't come out, and oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, you talk about the heat there. I had my leg laid on the trans tunnel part. I was like, man, that's hot. And you're like, yeah, that's where all the steam goes. Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, well, that kind of wraps up Havlik's, unless you got something else you would talk about during Havlik's, other than we just need more competitors. Need more people.
Yeah, I mean, I applaud Brian and Jess for doing everything they did, and trying so hard to promote it and all that. It just, more people need to come out and experience it. Don't get me wrong, it's probably a little different taste of people have to have a little different taste to come out and watch this stuff, or have seen all the old stuff. But in the same token, it's really cool to see all that stuff back out there.
Yeah, I agree. And a lot of big block nitrous stuff, so that's always cool. You don't really see that much anymore. I mean, everybody at the front of Dragon Drive right now is all. I mean, it's all huge block twin turbo stuff. So.
Yeah, I mean, how many when's the last time you saw that many nitrous cars with a Lenco, or nitrous cars with a Lenco in them? Including Rick Pope's Pinto sitting over there, that was iconic around here back in the 90s.
Yeah, that car. It's funny. Adam Dory and Tucci were talking about how that car's like a motor with a body on it. That's all that thing is.
Yeah, I don't know what he was smoking or whatever that night he'd come up with that idea, but I was like, holy cow.
Yeah. Big blocks, small cars. That's where it's at, right?
Oh yeah. What could go wrong?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Brian said there was 42 cars that registered and didn't show up for the event.
Yeah, that's what he said, which is a shame. I don't know why. I mean, he said some of them broke, all that. I mean, the weather turned out good, so. But once again, that's something to look forward to next year.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. All right. Well, big shout out to Molly for the support they give us here at the channel. Let's move into some drop the hammer and that kind of stuff.
So real quick, does that mean you're coming back to Havlik's for next year?
I'll be there, as far as I'm aware. I don't know if I have all three, but maybe I'll try and drive all three. Hell, I don't know, but I'll be there.
I can't imagine trying to figure out how to drive all three. That would be tough. I guess you can have them folks get in there and you just bounce from one to one to get in there.
I told somebody over the weekend, I said, the only thing that I can compare this to is when we had the original car and the truck over in Australia, and at the end of 16 and start of 17 for 2 weeks. and we ran 4 nights in 2 weeks, and ran 3 runs in each car each night. That was a handful.
Man, yeah, that's intense, especially being that far from home.
But it
Because
was,
it's not like you're taking the whole crew.
yeah.
You know?
Well, there was 4 of us, so it helped,
Oh
but
wow.
it was still just a lot. I mean, we'd go the next day and do maintenance, and then be ready, and then we'd take a day off and go do something, some sightseeing or whatever. But the people over there were awesome. But it was so cool. I mean, I've known some people over the years that have had a car over to Australia before, but nobody I know has ever had 2.
That's awesome. Yeah, Teresa said we need a bigger crew if he's driving all 3.
Jeff just won't sleep.
Yeah, that's all right.
Hey, look, I know a couple guys that'll at least help get the cars to the lane for you.
Hey, you know what? If it's got anything to do with that truck that was sitting over there that they left the rear end laying on the grass, no, I don't want any part of that.
None of that. Yeah, that's funny. Hopefully that thing will be fixed by then and be on a new chassis. It'll be just that driver and be easy.
Yeah, in perfect world.
That video was funny. People really believed that we left that rear end there the whole time.
Yeah,
that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, it was a good time. Yeah, appreciate Teresa and all the, I mean, she was sending us videos, pictures you guys were doing, all that kind of cool stuff. So we appreciate them for sure. All right, so let's move to the D-Torque stuff. Talk about some Drop the Hammer and upcoming drag week.
From street miles to track passes, your fuel system has one job: perform when it matters most. At D-Torques, we engineer high-performance fuel systems built for the demands of drag and drives. From injectors and fuel pumps to filters and regulators, every component is engineered to be reliable and consistent under real-world conditions. Whether you're chasing a personal best or driving hundreds of miles between tracks, D-Torques delivers the fuel system your build requires.
So, Drop the Hammer, that was like your return to here. Maybe. Oh, there we go. So, Drop the Hammer was the return. Oh, it died. Good. Gotcha.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. So, Drop the Hammer was like your return to drag and drive. What?
It was.
I tell you, it was kind of interesting to see, and I want to get your opinion on a weekend event because obviously your last run there were all national level events because there weren't any weekend things. What'd you think of the weekend setup, and especially Drop the Hammer?
That was the first time I'd been back to a drag and drive since 2017 when we went to Rocky Mountain Race Week. It was really nice. We drove probably 350, 60 miles. Roads were nice, all 2-lane, smooth, trees, 70 degrees. I mean, good grief, you couldn't plan it out any nicer. I mean, racetracks weren't, what I'm used to being on, but they were still nice tracks. And I hadn't had that much time with the truck yet. And here we go again. I built this thing to go really fast, not try and slow it down. So I was really struggling trying to get this thing slowed down. And David Visner that built this new engine platform, he went with me. And so he was a newbie. I think I don't think he'll go on another one. I mean, and I told him, I said, that was a little baby thing compared to what it normally is. So, but it was fun. I told Carl, I said, this would be really cool to bring the old car to next year. Just the tracks were that kind of track, and it'd just be fun. I mean, and not take a trailer and not do everything, just roll up, unload, throw the ice in it, swap fuel systems, and let it rip, and make a couple of rips and head on down the road.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That would be. I think that's what we're seeing these weekend events kind of become is like an opportunity for guys to get back in it. It's funny you say that he's maybe not coming back again because Jonathan Stonecipher says this all the time. You're either a forever or never dude for drag and drive. You're either going to do it at any chance you get, or you're like, hell no.
Well, I always joke with everybody. I mean, we've done Drop the Hammer was the 12th one we've done. They've all been at Unlimited, and we've finished every one. And I don't think anybody else can come anywhere close to that. But I joke. I said, you start the week and about Tuesday or Wednesday, you're like, man, I cannot wait for this thing to get over. I'm just wore out. The mental part of it just wears on you. I mean, you wake up like Tuesday or Wednesday morning after the event, and you're like, oh, I got to do this, this, and this in the middle of the night, and then you're like, oh shit, it's over. But we joke. I said, we get done, we load the trailer up, and we're headed home, and we're like exhausted, and then because you're like, can't wait for the week to finish, and then you're like, when does it start next year?
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. You're already doing the countdown, or you're looking at the schedule on dragdriverpete.com/events, and you're trying to find the next, like, hey, is there one on the way home? Or we're going to pass by one. Can I jump in?
Yeah. So
everybody always says
it's real.
Go ahead. It's Plan B fun. It's not fun in the moment, but it's fun when you think about it later.
Yeah, it's addictive. I mean, if you enjoy that kind of torture, I guess.
Yeah, the hangover, drag and drive hangover is real. You come back home and, I see something pulling a trailer going to work and I'm like, oh, what's that? And it's just somebody's regular pickup truck and a regular trailer, and you get disappointed as you go past.
Yeah. Well, during the time that you weren't racing the S10 at Dragon Drives, you were racing at other places, but did it spend any time on the street in those years?
The truck, no. Literally, I never did drive that thing much on the street, to be honest with you. I mean, I built it for Drag Week and Drag and Drive stuff because back when I built it, Drag Week was it. Then Matt came out with Rocky Mountain Race Week, and we went on the first one and the third one with the truck up through the mountains and out onto the plains. God forbid when it was 104. Everybody. But to answer your question, no, I really didn't drive it much. I mean, I raced it some. We won Topeka National Event in Top Sportsman in 2015 with it. Took it to Streetcar Super Nationals in Vegas a couple of times and went in the fives there. So did that, and then Street Outlaws / MPK started and ran it there for the first 2 seasons, and then they booted it. So, and that's just really, it's really kind of been laying in the corner since then. I mean, I had all intentions of putting it back, but that's when Dave Visner and I started talking before COVID about doing this 5-inch bore billet water motor, and kept going back and forth on stuff. And like I said, it took him a while to do it, finally get it done. And then it took me a while to get everything in there. So here we are, fast forward, 6 or 7 years, and finally got it together, and so far so good. I'm real happy with the platform.
Wow.
So what's different on the truck today than from the last time you did Drag Week? Like what kind of things have you updated or changed?
It's got a couple more dents in it, that's for sure. The engine combination is the biggest thing. I put a lockup in it. I haven't used it yet, but I put a lockup in it because this fall I want to try and, like a better term, trying to go rotate the earth. So we'll see how that works. But basically just the engine combination is different. The Brodex motor served me well and made good power. We just always drew the line at 50 pounds of boost. Eric Gillard and I talked about that. They're the ones that put that original motor together, and we drew that line there because we wanted it to live and not throw the bottom end out of it. So basically the engine combination. But now with this billet piece that Dave built, I asked him, I said, how much boost? He goes, whatever you want. I go, okay. I got a set of hearts on there. You better be careful because I guarantee it'll make 70 plus.
Wow.
That's crazy. 70 pounds of boost.
Incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how much it'll make, but I promise you it'll make more than that.
Wow. Man, that's crazy. And the great thing for people to understand is, like, those are gigantic turbos too. Like, they're big and a lot of boot. You know what I mean? So it's taking all it can get.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, at Drop the Hammer, quickest pass to the event, obviously, on the last day. Ended up running like a 4:30. I mean, that laid it in the dirt on what I would consider probably a good test and tunes, style track prep.
If I'd have got down the track and I was really close, Friday, I guess it was Friday. I was really close Friday to going down. Looking back at it after the weekend, but it was still just a little much, and so if I could have got down Friday, the weekend would have been a lot better. But then we went to I can't even think of the second track up by Manistee. Went there, and it was a beautiful track. It just still wasn't quite as good, and I struggled there. And then we came back, and I finally got it by the throat at Mid Michigan, and went I think at 490 something. And it was funny. Dave's like, he's like, man, that's really slow. I was like, Dave, it's a whole lot easier to speed this thing up than it is to slow it down. I promise you. So, the next run it went 450. Next run it went 430, and I think if we'd have got another one, it should have went a low team.
Wow. Yeah, and I mean, it'll take that kind of times as you come into drag week to do what you're wanting to do, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think I haven't been to Byron in years, and hopefully the track prep is good at all the tracks. I mean, Cordova should be, I'm thinking, comparable to what it was, which was fine. Schroeder went 609 at Byron here a few weeks ago, so I guess that place is good. And we know Chicago and St. Louis should be. Once again, it's all going to depend on track prep, time of day you get out there. I haven't been to a drag week since it was over 250 cars, so I don't know what kind of a poop show this is going to be, trying to get in the lanes and get going and get runs in. But it takes X amount of time to turn the car, of course, in the morning, and that first shot out of the gate is your best shot to go fast, because then the heat sets in, the track gets worse, and then unfortunately after that you end up driving into the night, and that's not my cup of tea if I can keep running.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Dirty Panda is going to be coming. He's doing a couple days with us for coverage and stuff at Drag Week. I'm excited to have him. So it's going to be his first Drag Week experience.
Red Hat Scotty asked, since you got side pipes, does that mean it has a radio as well?
The original car does.
No radio on the S10?
No, you got to sing along.
You singing to each other, you got headsets.
Karaoke, whatever. I mean, no radio.
That's funny. Well, let's talk about some drag week stuff. What are you doing? What's the preparations over the next month for you in the truck?
Well, I'm sitting here right now gapping spark plugs. So for this weekend and for drag week. So that's what I was doing before we started this deal tonight. So it's just prep now. I'll go out and run the truck some more this weekend, see if I can get the number I want, and then the motor will go back to Dave, freshen it up, because we've got some runs and some miles on it now. So he'll freshen it up, get it ready for drag week. I'll go over some stuff on it, and then go through my list of, all the stuff that I need in the trailer, and get the trailer packed, and just try and be prepared, because as you guys well know, it's all about preparation, because anything can happen, and if you're not prepared for it, then you're probably not going to finish. And I tell everybody, when I start the week, it's my goal is to finish. And if I can be the fastest guy there on Monday, then that's a bonus. And if I can be the fastest guy there on Tuesday, it's even better. And if you can go out and put a 10th on everybody on Monday and stay ahead of them by 100th, then by the end of the week, they're in a bad spot. So that's the whole thing. I mean, and then the whole 5 thing just hanging over everybody's head right now. Yeah, that's a goal, but is it feasible? Yeah, I think it's feasible, but I'm telling you, that's a lofty goal.
Yeah. Well, and like we're seeing Ned go through it now. We're going to talk about the front runner cars here after we're done with our conversation. But that's what he says too, and like it takes constant testing and constant abuse of the cars, and then that's the other bad side of it is now you're testing these cars they're not as fresh. So like you have a month, so the motor goes back to Visner to get checked up and make sure it's fresh. It comes back. Well, say that takes a week longer than it should have. Now it's a thrash. Now it's like, oh man, we got to get this thing back together. And thrashes before events are always the hardest on people, in my opinion.
That's that's been kind of my MO over the years, unfortunately. I mean, whether it be the original car, whether it be the truck, it's always been down to the last minute. Is that the way I planned it or wanted it? Absolutely not. But did it turn out that way? Yes. So not what I want, but sometimes you don't get everything you want. You just gotta, you have to adapt to the cards you're dealt. No different than running the week. So sometimes you just gotta adapt, make the best of it. I'm gonna send the trans back to Rossler, make sure it's good. Just pull the third out, look at it. Once again, some of these guys take tons and tons of spares, and I've always joked. Dave asked me last year when we were thinking we were going to make it last year. He said, "You want to take a spare set of heads?" And I'm like, "Do I want to, or are we?" And I said, to answer the question, I said, "We're not." I said, my whole thing has always been, if my street car won't make it 1,000 miles without pulling the heads of the oil pan, that ain't no street car. And I don't go on this thing. I mean, I say this, I don't go on this thing to kill myself. I go on it for a break, right? That's how it started out 20 years ago. Now it's turned into a lot of work, but I just refuse. If I've got to pull the heads off of it, then hey, I'm out. These guys will have the heads off repeatedly, putting pistons in them, everything else. It's like, guys, this is a street car. Come on now. I mean, go home and fix your stuff. Come back next year. I mean, I trust me. Will I be down and out and have my lip hanging out if something happens, I drop a valve or something? Absolutely. And the law of averages will catch me sooner than later. At some point in time, like I said, finishing all these, sometime we're probably going to have an oops, but I just hope it's not this year.
Yeah, right. Yeah, us either. A couple questions here. Red Hat Scotty asked, he said, which drag week track are you most excited for, and which track do you think is going to be the hardest?
That's hard to say which one's going to be the hardest. That's going to depend on track prep, I would say, and what time, if we can make the first run on any of them. The most excited I'm going to be is the first run on Monday morning, because that's going to set the pace for the week. So if we could go out and do what I hope we can and go 5 anything, then that's going to set the pace. If me or nobody or Ned or whoever, there's plenty of cars there that are capable of going into 5s. I mean, just like Hargett's deal. I mean, nobody knows what that thing is capable of. I mean, I got a pretty good idea, but they haven't done anything yet. So there's plenty of cars that are capable. But if nobody comes out of there on Monday with a 5, then it's going to be free for all regardless. But if somebody can come out of there, or even 1 or 2, 3 guys can come out of there on Monday running into 5s, oh my God, the tensions are going to be really high.
Yeah, I mean, and what's so great about drag and drive, and people miss this, I think, that don't follow it as deeply, or they're kind of they're fans. They're not necessarily like involved in it or don't do it, But the struggle on day 4 to still have your mind together, that when something isn't 100%, like to be able to fix it and get it going to where you can get that truck to go 100%, to run the number you need, like that's a real problem that people miss. And that's one thing that, if I wish more media outlets would cover this up, because I think we could really explain to people how hard this truly is.
It's crazy, because the racing part of it is the easy part. The driving part, as you well know from this weekend, is the hard part. I mean, and the higher the horsepower, the more bells, whistles, gadgets, the more opportunities for failure there are. So the driving part is what makes it difficult. And so for you to we could race it on one day and then drive it that afternoon, evening, and then race it the next day and continue for a week. The 4 or 5 days is huge, and then the attrition that is involved in between time, can be catastrophic. I joked with some guys back in 2012. We started in Tulsa, went to Dallas, Shreveport, Memphis, back to Tulsa, and I said to one guy, I said, like the drive back from Memphis that night was 425. 95% of it was all interstate. Unfortunately, it rained like a son of a gun for who knows how many hours. But the one guy's like, well, I got a street car. I drive it a lot. I'm like, okay, so you're going to jump in it on Monday. You're going to drive it from Tulsa to Dallas to Shreveport to Memphis and back to Oklahoma City. Tulsa. And he's like, well, I don't know about that. And the other guy's standing there. He's like, he goes, well, I race mine a lot. I'm like, okay, so you're going to load it on a trailer. You're going to run it to Tulsa, go to Dallas, race it, Shreveport, race it, blah, blah, blah. And come back to Tulsa in 4 days, 5 days and race it. Well, man, that's kind of a lot. I said, now try and do both of them at the same time.
Yeah, it really is one of the toughest things. And I think I think people are looking for some of that hardness. We need some of that toughness in our life as men. I think we got to earn it sometimes, and that's one of the biggest things I think that I love about Drag and Drive is that it really pushes you and your mental ability the whole time.
I joke with everybody. I said you've got to be about half MacGyver to figure out some of this stuff to be able to roll with the flow and adapt, and because nothing ever is, it rarely is what you wanted. From dragging a set of lifters up off the camshaft and tying them up and pulling the fuel injector plug on it and driving at 150 miles one night on 7 and then being out there at an hour before daybreak to put lifters in it the next morning. There's just so many things that can go wrong, and you just have to adapt and roll with the punches. Poor Brian Goldstone. Him and Brian Robbins have run themselves through the mill before, and honestly, I'd have probably thrown it in town. I said, the hell with this. But those guys, have managed to keep going and going and going, and more power to them. But oh my God.
Yeah, I don't remember which event it was, but we were at 131 and they blew a hole in the head and went and fixed it and milled it and all that kind of stuff to get back in the event. It was absolutely insane.
Yeah, luckily they were close to Brian's shop, which helped immensely. But still, pull the motor out and rip it apart, and holy cow! Yeah, count me out. Once again, if I got to pull the heads off, check me out. I'll be drinking beer.
Yeah, it's good to hang out with my buddies. You say that, but I'm sure that would be one of the hardest things for you to do is to do that. All right, Eric, which questions do we ask here?
Yeah, we got a question here from Big Block Bob. Why run the twins now when you've had success with large single or Hearts Charger at other events? Is it street ability?
The big single I ran because I get a 300-pound weight break in MPK. That's why I put the big single on it. The big single runs well, without a doubt. The twins will make more boost, more power. So, and there's no weight restriction or anything on that. The Hearts Charger or even the Pro Charger aren't designed to run on the street. The big units. Now we did some work on Matt Frost's car quite a few years ago, and we talked about making a cradle where you could slide that thing forward and slide it off the gear drive and just drive it like that, with the alternator running on the front of the motor and driving NA, and then slide it back on. And I don't think that'd be a bad deal either. But here we go again. The camshaft profile for a blower or a charger car is more radical than it is for a turbo car. So at the end of the day, the turbo car is much more forgiving in a lot of respects, other than there's way more gadgets on a turbo car, but it's more forgiving as far as how streetable and drivable it is.
Yeah. And to answer Aaron Roberts' question here, he said, didn't Larry weld on Bryant's car on Mega Week? Yeah, you guys helped him put some of the bars back in the back when it ripped the shootout or whatever.
Yeah, we did.
All right, so let's close there. Unless there's anything else you want to tell us about Drag Week updates, tires you run, hints at things you got going on.
Like I said, my plan is if I can get me a nice, good, smooth 590 tune-up and 95 plus degrees this weekend, I'll be fat and happy. I'm already fat. I just need to be happy.
Just need to be happy. Eric, go ahead and hit this one from Teresa.
Yep, Teresa said, what are your 3 goals with your return to Drag Week?
3 goals? Why has she got to be so difficult? I mean, I would love to run in the 5s. I mean, everybody wants to win the event, but first and foremost, I mean, I want to finish it. So that's the first goal, and then we'll see how the other 2 work out.
Yeah,
I believe you. All right, well, big shout out to Deechworks. We love those guys over there. We have full Deechworks fuel system in Eric's car, and dude, the fuel pump has been incredible in the old truck. It's got me anywhere I've needed to go since the circuit, so appreciate them on that stuff too. If you guys need any fuel stuff, hit us up. We'll get you in contact with one of the team members over at Deechworks. Performer built transmission segment here. We're gonna hit some follower questions here. So we've got some that are in our notes. We've also got some that are in the chat. And we'll let you get back to it after that. Mr. Eric, you want to read the ad read there, and then we'll get into some of these.
Yep. Performer Built is the official transmission builder of Drag Driver Pete. At Performer Built Transmissions, their goal is to engineer and build the toughest transmissions on the planet. Performer Built doesn't just rebuild transmissions, they systematically re-engineer each model to eliminate OEM flaws and achieve the highest levels of performance. That is why they say their transmissions are not just built, they are Performa-built.
I think the first question I want to get into here is from Mike Baker. I think this is really good for a guy at your level. Obviously, he says, do you ever miss going slower with the lighter wear and tear? And does the fast/slow impact your enjoyment of the event or car?
I'm really looking forward to getting the original car back out. And once again, everybody's like, why don't you lighten it up, blah, 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 try and go, keep up with Brian or whatever. I'm like, that thing's all steel, bumpers, everything. I said, if that thing goes 6 anything at 200 anything, I said, I'm fat and happy. I said, it's got a clutch in it. It'll be faster with the automatic, maybe. But I can't wait to get up there and put that thing on the chip, on the starting line again with the clutch. So as far as going slower, man, I don't know. I haven't been. I tell everybody, I said, drag racing is probably the most addictive sport there is, because the only thing that keeps us all from having a top fuel car is our wallet.
Yeah. That is 100% true.
Yeah. I mean, you go out and you make 10 runs and, hey, can we turn this thing up? Can we go faster?
Yeah. Yeah. How far can we take this thing? And then if we make 2 small upgrades, what does it do? 2 more upgrades.
Well, it's like when we were 16, we start at the front and we make more power in the motor, right? No matter what we do. Then we tear up a transmission or converter or whatever. Then we tear up a drive shaft or rear end, right? And then we fix all that. Guess where we go again? Right back to the front. Start it all over again.
Yeah. Well, how about Teresa's question here? Ask Larry about karaoke nights. Are you a karaoke guy?
Only when Jeff's along. Only when Jeff's along.
All right, it's on now. What's your go-to karaoke song?
I do not sing karaoke, but we've stopped at a couple of places on the way to races to grab something to eat at night. The best place was Chaser's Lounge in Effingham, Illinois, and walked in there, and it was so smoke-filled with the little stage and the karaoke deal, and there was a couple of waitresses behind the bar that I could tell you stories about for a while, and oh my God, we'd laugh constantly about stupid stuff like that. So That's what we roll into one of these little bars somewhere. And we're like, you think they got a karaoke bar?
That's awesome. Well, I think that answers Red Hat Scotty's question of favorite roadside restaurant, Chester's in Illinois. All right, well, let's run into some of these. So, Ned Dunphy, we were messaging back and forth with him for updates for his car, and we'll talk about those here in just a minute. But he said, "Tell Larry I said hello, and I'm looking forward to a fun, competitive event with him and all the other heavy hitters." He said it's going to be awesome if it's a barn burner event where we can compete for the top spot throughout the week. So, I'm excited to see. Ned is kind of I don't want to say the new guy on the block, but he hasn't been doing it. He wasn't early on in the events, things like that, and has come on strong. I mean, this 2013 Dodge Viper is very fast, so it's going to be kind of cool to see a mix of everybody's stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Ned's done his homework. He's done everything he had to. Made some more changes this year. Knows where he needs to go, and he's got good people behind him. Mm-hmm. And I'm just really disappointed that I didn't get an update on run number 6 on Sunday. So I don't know what that's all about, Ned.
Man, I know. I was watching and ready. I was trying to get it out of him, but he said they're testing again August 30th. So that'll be kind of fun. Again, we're going to talk about that here in just a minute. Eric, you want to go on to the next one there?
Yep, the next one here from Brandon Huffman said, "Do you plan to run race week October 4th through 12th?"
Not tentatively, no. Right now the only thing on my sites is drag week right now, and then I really, like I said, it's hard when you run a car of that caliber. It's hard because minus Rocky Mountain Race Week, nobody pays any money for it, and these things cost a lot of money, and they cost a lot of money to maintain and to run. So it's expensive, and that's part of the reason I kind of backed off of it a little bit, quite honestly, because it was so expensive, and they really didn't want a bunch of corporate sponsorship in it, which I understand. So it's tough, and by the time you go out and run the week and the hotels and just everything involved with it, it's just a lot. So I'm planning on running drag week, and then I want to sit down and see where I'm at and see how things went. And then if everything is like I want, then this fall when it cools off, like I said, look for big things because we're going to try and hang the bar up high.
That's awesome. Chris Morey says, "Do you feel that the S10 is maxed out? And if not, where do you believe the limits are?"
Every time you split, ask Loans. Loans said a few years ago, there'll never be a drag week car in the 5s. And we were laughing because he showed up like 2 weeks before the truck came out, right? And nobody knew except for Loans and Freiberger that we were even building it, a few people around here. So I don't know what the limit is. 560s, 550s. I don't know. I mean, my goal, quite honestly, is to go 560s. Now, can I get there? I don't know. Pretty lofty goal, but we're going to find out.
Yeah, that's big.
That'd be wild.
I mean, not a drag week. Don't get me wrong, but this fall testing, whatever, in drag and drive trim, as you want to call it. Yeah, that's my. I want to prove that platform that Dave built, is capable of that. And that you can do that with something that you can drive.
Yeah, man, that's so badass to think that we're at a point now where, in 2005, I mean, the car that won went 850s. Like we're 20 years later, we're looking, 2.5 seconds or quicker than that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I went 616 on day 6 or whatever in 14. So, which was way faster than Andy Frost had been back then. I mean, he'd been 640, so that was a huge leap that year. So, but I also went 589 in 15? Yeah, 2015. I went 589 with it out in Vegas. So here we go again. So 2 more tents and 10, 12 years, fully capable, right?
Yeah, right.
Right?
The next question here from Kyle Calkins was, if you were going to build another purpose-built drag and drive car, what would it be?
Oh gosh, I haven't even. I'd have to be brain dead to think about that one. I haven't even thought about it. The truck's done its purpose well. I mean, the thing's narrow and fairly. I feel like the aero is somewhat decent. The downforce on the back is probably a little bit too good, but it does. Once again, it on a marginal racetrack, it helps a lot. So, the biggest thing, if you were going to build if I was going to build another car, my new car, my Chevy 2, the new one I built a couple years ago. I mean, that's a steel roof and quarter car. It's not a all carbon pro mod car like some of these guys are running in drag week, but that car weighs a little over 2,600 pounds. So if you could take another couple hundred pounds off my truck, game on.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So that's why I say Hargett steel with that mod motor in there. I'm telling you, that's a wild card right there.
It really is, and I hope he can get it going in the next. I mean, he's really got to have. It needs to be race ready in like the next week or 10 days to be able to get some testing time. Like he's gonna have to make some passes in that car before he gets it. I mean, that car was a 800 cubic inch nitrous motor, like in the late 90s. So that car hasn't quite been. I mean, it hasn't been as fast as he's fixing to take it, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
No, and I get it. But in the same token, we built the truck in 14, and literally we hadn't even started that thing on alcohol till 8 o'clock at night on Sunday night in Tulsa. That was, I still have nightmares about that. But, we finished the week and we ran okay. But, I mean, we've dodged a lot of bullets over the years. We've had some luck. I'll put it that way. I mean, there were some years that we maybe shouldn't have finished, but we were lucky enough and caught stuff or fixed stuff or whatever. So we did finish. But like I said, he's one of them that could be really fast.
Yeah, and that motor in that car went like very low sevens and took down Cal Hayward's small block power adder class, Super Street small block power adder. I mean, and it's 900 pounds lighter than the Mustang was. So that car should be pretty good. Last question here. We'll let you go. It's getting dark there. But
I turned the lights off so it wouldn't be blaring.
Rodney Reeves asked, what do you think about coming to the circuit 2027, which is our weekend event? And I couldn't pass up asking you that. Putting you here on the spot.
I've heard of it. Doesn't that come out of Tulsa or somewhere?
Well, so we're working on our tracks now. We're looking at Tulsa, Thunder Valley. We're looking at Wichita as well. So we're going to see. We'll know. I would say probably in the next 10 to 12 days, something like that. So,
hadn't really thought about it. Here we go again. If you've got some smaller venues like that, it would probably be more conducive to bringing the old car out than it would, the truck.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll tell you what really, what a lunatic I am. What really piques my interest is that American Detour.
Oh yeah, that was an incredible event. I'll tell you, it was a ton of fun.
That one I would love to, and it would be just absolutely insanity. But I would love to take the original car and drive it on that deal.
Yeah, so he's already working on the plan for the 2027 event, and it's a little different. I'm not gonna get into it, but it's as many miles as the other one was. I'll just say that. Well,
the miles deal is one thing, but just the whole Cannonball Run Rat I thought was just badass because I was grew up watching that movie and everything else. So pretty cool. I mean, you could make the whole, if you wanted to do something similar and make it shorter, you could do the whole Smoking the Bandit run, from Texarkana to whatever. So.
Yeah, they do that one, and I think it would be really fun. I know he's looking at that. He's looking at some stuff with some Texas roads and things like that. So I think it's going to be. He's definitely got the cat by the tail on that one. That's one that's going to be a blast for him. And man, I mean, listen, I had the old truck in Red Ball Garage, like in Manhattan. Like it doesn't get any cooler than that. It's like a spiritual moment for me to have that with all the Cannonball Run stuff. I've always been a big fan of that over the years. So
yeah, that would be cool for sure.
Yeah. All right, Eric, what else we got? Anything else?
Do we have any more questions? A couple more. Do you like margaritas and job site coolers?
I know exactly where that one came from. I've been known to have maybe one too many.
Nice. All right. Well, I like. And then Tom Wilhelm says, would you ever consider running a radial tire?
I'm not going to tell you that's a hard no, but real close.
Is it just I would think with as many cars as you have, the more similarities between them, the better it makes it, right? Like that way you're not trying to figure out one certain thing over here and over here.
I've always liked the challenge. I mean, that's why the MPK thing, even when we went and did mega cash days on the street, I'm always up for a challenge, right? But I just have never had absolutely no desire to go radial racing. They're either hauling ass or they've knocked the tire off, and then you watch the tractor race. So no.
Yeah, I can appreciate that, and I mean, we see a lot of guys that run radials during drag and drive events because they drive on them and stuff. I would just think with the difference in tracks that you're going to see across a 5-day event for sure, you never know. And I would think a slick would do better in that situation.
Well, I don't think you're going to ever see, unless somebody, if you really, really, really prep the racetrack radial wise, could you go into fives on a radial? Yeah, absolutely. Do I see that happening? Probably not.
Yeah, and again, in a situation like we're in with drag and drive, where you have 300 or 400 cars, you almost can't. So you could end up with a situation where we're going to run an event that is radial centric, and maybe get there that way. I don't know. I think we're in a really cool spot with drag and drive because there's so many events that we can really test out some ideas and thoughts and theories and see what events are fun and make it different for everybody. Kind of like what Drop the Hammer does, and Heads Up Hustle has 2 days of regular drag and drive and then Heads Up Racing. Like, there's just a lot of different ways we can get there.
Yeah. To me, it's hard to run a radial and a bias fly at the same racetrack on the same day, blah, blah, blah. I mean, we all know that. It's been proven time after time after time. So, if they wanted to have a true radial drag and drive, that'd be great. But you know what? I guess what frustrates me a little bit, and once again, I haven't been to a drag week or anything else in a lot of years, but when you see these guys show up with a radial and then start bitching because the racetrack's not prepped good enough, it's like, hey, nobody twisted your arm and told you to show up with a radial. So don't show up with a radial and then whine and cry because the racetrack's not good enough. I mean, Glenn Hunter, which I've been friends with a long time, was up there this weekend, and he ran very respectable. But did he run as good as he's capable of? No, absolutely not. And neither did Morris or anybody else. It's just the track, the prep wasn't there, and so it's I don't know. It's hard for me to watch these guys roll in there, and not everybody does it, but some of them just throw a fit because the racetrack's not good enough for a radial. It's like, nobody put a gun to your head, throw some balls, put a big tire on it.
Yep. Well, Larry, listen, I've had a blast, man. I really want to say thank you to you and your team. I mean, you guys were welcoming. Again, got welding up our lift blocks so we could get the truck back home, and all the help that you guys gave us there, and just being able to hang out and the ride in the truck and the car, it was pretty cool. And appreciate your time tonight a whole bunch. I know you got a bunch of shit on your plate, and we appreciate you taking the time to come on here.
No, absolutely, and I expect a picture of that rear end in your yard and not where I saw it last.
Yeah, it's on the trailer out in front of the shop. I hadn't even undone any of that stuff. So, um, yeah. Do you do that as well? Like, do you pull in after a weekend of racing and not even touch that thing for 3 or 4 days? Because I hadn't even looked at the truck.
The truck's in the shop. The small tire car's still in the trailer, and I still got to go to Nebraska and get the OG car. So, yeah, and it was 99 here today. So,
Yeah.
but once again, I'm going to go out Friday, Saturday, Sunday and test this thing. So I got to get my tail in gear.
That's awesome. Well, guys, listen. If you're anywhere close to Flying H, get out there and go get some signatures from Larry, and go get pictures, all that kind of cool stuff, and keep us updated on what times run and how that preps. So appreciate it again. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, guys. Thank you.
All right, buddy.
Yep.
See you.
See ya.
Yeah, bye.
How cool is that, man?
That was a great conversation.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. And as I was kind of prepping for today's notes and all that kind of stuff, and get all of that going, it was neat to go back into look at some of the details from the historical stuff of what he's done, and all the just all the events that he's been to and done all that kind of stuff with. It's pretty neat. You think about, and I didn't want to get into all this because I really wanted to stay kind of on topic as much as we could. But he held the Rocky Mountain Race Week record for like 2015 to 2025.
Yeah.
Like the first event to Mega Week. That was pretty awesome to hear that. So yeah, Tom Wilhelm says Mike's rear end was the talk of the event.
Sure was.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, Dirty Panda. He was asking, said this weekend. You say yes, this weekend. Flying H, go see, hang out with Larry Larson and those guys.
Drag Week's going to be exciting. I mean, we've still got a bunch more to talk about here, but yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, and that's what I'm pumped about. So let's go ahead and do our let's thank our race car friends and our sponsors. Then we'll get into some of that stuff because we've got updates from Ned Dunphy. We got detailed stuff from him, Ryan Hargett, all that kind of stuff. So let's jump in.
All right. Appreciate all of our race car friends that have been tuning in. We've had tons of people watching tonight, which is awesome. Tons of great comments. Again, I want to thank all of our race car friends that we got to see at Havlik's and all of our race car friends that helped us out with getting the truck going. Again, can't thank all of our race car friends enough, and all of our sponsors. We couldn't do this without all of our sponsors: Summit Racing Equipment, Deechworks, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Howard's Cams, J-Wire Solutions, AFCO Racing Products, Performer-Built Transmissions, Car Chains 3D, Low Dollar Motorsports, Power Tube TV, and Racing Junk.
For sure, those guys are awesome. All right, let's jump in. Let's just talk about J-Wire stuff because that's where we're going to do some Drag Week information, which I'm excited about here. So I'll hit the intro video and then we will go over Drag Week stuff. Where in the hell did I put it? There it is.
What's up, guys? My name is Cole from Fort Worth, Texas. Expert car and marine wiring solutions that you can trust. J-Wire Solutions can wire and plumb your hot rod, your race car, hell, even your drag and drive car. Plus, they offer products to make your driving experience way better, like their blinker module that is just a must for all drag and drive cars. This module will allow your rear turn signals to continue to function while the brake pedal is applied, just like stock. Find all the details at jwiresolutions.com.
Man, all right. Well, let's kick this thing off, dude, because this is a good one. So, obviously, starting out, Drag Week a month away. We are we're really getting to the number here. I mean, this is going to be important. So, I messaged Mike Galemi. I said, "Hey, dude, what are you excited about? What are as we get into this last month, I mean, we're literally a month away from Drag Week. What's going on? What are you seeing? What are you thinking?" He said, he sent me back. He said, "Man, to have guys like Ned Dunphy, Larry Larson, Jeff Lutz, we've heard rumors there. I hadn't got anything back from Jeff yet, but Brian Goldstone, hopefully, and Ryan Hargett all coming to Drag Week with the potential to chase a 5-second average is pretty incredible. But first and foremost, I want to see a good, hard race where everyone competes safely and makes it through the week." He said, if the conditions are right and a 5-second average happens, it happens. So I think that's kind of that's the theme, right? Is like, hey, fingers crossed it gets there. But if it doesn't, hey, let's just have a great race, right? He said the fact that we could witness that kind of history at Hot Rod Drag Week is both thrilling and humbling. Speaks to how far these racers have pushed street legal performance and how special this community is. These guys raise the bar for each other, but they're also they'll also be the first ones helping a competitor in the pits. That combination of competition and community is what Drag Week has always been about. Thought that was, dude,
Yeah.
it doesn't get any better than that. And it's from Mike Galimi, the man, network
Right.
director at Hot Rod Magazine. So let's talk about Hot Rod Drag Week 2026. Let's get into some stuff here. So I'll let you tell us about Mr. Larry Larson's update, who we just talked to moments ago.
Yep. So Larry Larson ran a best at 6:09 at Hot Rod by Havlik's fastest streetcar shootout this past weekend. He went 6:20 in 90-degree temperatures off the trailer. That's incredible. And yeah, we just talked to him and told us all about the truck, all about his changeovers, his upcoming testing. So listening to him talk about all the testing that he's going to do before drag week, like, listen, he's motivated.
Well, and dude, you think about like, he's talking about sending the trans back to Rossler to get freshened, the engine back to Visner. Well, it's Wednesday night right now. He's going to test Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? Thursday, Friday, Saturday? No, Friday, Saturday, Sunday out at Flying H, which is down the road from him. Okay. They go back to the shop Monday or Tuesday, pull the motor. They ship it to Visner Engine Dynamics or Design. I can't remember what the third word is there, but that's in Michigan. Okay. So that's at least a 2-day, LTL ride on a pallet to get back there. At least, I mean, dude, it may be 3 or 4. I don't know. And so then that guy's got it for 3 or 4 days. I mean, I don't know. And then it's 3 or 4 days back, bro. That's getting to the wire.
Right. You're talking a week and a half, 2 weeks tops.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I assume that you want to get the engine back in and then test again.
Yeah. Yeah. So will you go up, would you make the trip back to Kansas City the weekend before? So like if we're looking here, if you think if you don't have the motor back till the 29th, let's say the 28th or 29th of and that would probably be too tight. Actually, you're probably not going to get it back till the 31st or 1st of September. Okay. You've got to be in Chicago at Joliet on the 12th to register to be there and do all that stuff, or on the 13th. Okay. So that's 10 days because you've got at least a day's worth of drive up there. So you literally have 10 days to get the motor back in and get everything. So your only test time would be the 5th and 6th, that weekend of Labor Day weekend, right, out at hopefully Flying H.
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty wild. Yeah, I'm really excited about this truck. Not only for the possibility of somebody going 5s and him being that guy that could possibly do that, but then also for what that's going to mean for the sport itself, right? Like, because we've seen this with Sick Week in 2025. Like, we had a list of 12 people that were capable of running deep into the 6s, and we were looking for a new record in 2025 by, dude, I think we had 10 people on the list that we were watching. Now that didn't happen because people had struggled getting their cars together, but we've really got this list here is probably our most solid right now that could get there and get it done. Moving to Ryan Hargett, bro. This car's crazy. He made a post the other day. I hadn't got the message back from him yet, but I just sent it right before the show. So it said he hit the goal of being 900 pounds lighter than the Mustang. And like I talked when Larry was on, that car went 17s, like I think it's 713 or 718 or something like that, in a Mustang, in a regular bodied Mustang, right? Car that was not prepared. Like this. I mean, it was a stock bodied car. The Camaro's 900 pounds lighter than the Mustang, and he didn't have to sacrifice street stuff to do it. The fuel tank stays in, radiator stays, trailer hitch and air filters come off at the track, but that's about the only big change from street to race trim. That's a big deal on day 4, like we were talking about with Larry. The other great part is this car is built on a much more capable chassis and is way more aerodynamic than the Mustang. Lighter, better, and still a true drag and drive car was the goal from day 1. This Antidote Camaro, it's going to be insane. This is if people don't know, this is a HPT twin turbo Coyote setup that is capable of 3,500 horsepower.
Yeah.
This car ought to be very, very, very rowdy. And, but again, we're running into the situation. Does he have time to get the last few bits and pieces put together to get some testing done before drag week?
I hope so.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too. All right. And then I'll let you tell us about Ned, because this is a great conversation.
Yep. Ned Dunphy here said pass number 5, density altitude currently 4,100 feet, and it's 84 degrees with 118 grains of water and full sun. Said we just went past the 660, clicked it into neutral, popped the chutes, and coasted to a leisurely 6,358 at 183.
Bro, come on.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
He sent us a message here and said, we are testing one more time on August 30th at Galat following the PDRA race and going to focus on full-length passes. So every one of his passes so far has not been a full quarter-mile pass. Based on conversations with lots of people in the know, you can subtract 6 to 10 numbers off a time slip from Bristol due to elevation. So we wanted to get down and settle in at a 395 in the 8th, which we translate to a 5-second pass in the quarter. I said for me, the biggest challenge was switching from a screw-blown car to a turbo car. It was like learning to ride a bike all over again. And then what?
I was just saying that's because from difference in he raced the Pro Mod all weekend. 1 Pro Boost at PDRA, pretty badass, full field car there. I mean, that's pretty gnarly. And then gets in this Turbo Viper.
Yeah. I said one more note. Our quickest 8th mile pass last year on drag week was a 410. So we've already run personal best and did not have the best conditions nor everything dialed in. I think we've got some amazing potential left in this combo. I think the best news is that the car and the updates came together perfectly, and we just need to get some fine tuning done before we can call our shot, but we're going to show up more than ready.
Dude, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
I love it with the black wheels too.
Dude, it looks so good.
So good.
Yeah, and he's going to be on the Wes Buck show next week, so I'm sure he'll have plenty to talk about drag week coming up as well.
Oh, you better believe I'm going to be feeding Wes and those guys some info and data and all that kind of stuff. Because, man, Wes is a big Pro Mod guy, so that would be really cool to have, it lead in with that, but then also change over and talk about some drag and drive stuff. So yeah, I'm ready. I'm excited about that conversation. So Wes Buck in the Wes Buck Show, Drag Illustrated. So moving on to the next guy that we got some updates on, Jeff Lutz. Going to be racing Alex Taylor in the Tri-5 Nationals this weekend at Beach Bend Raceway. So I'm kind of excited about that. That's cool for them. I did ask him for an update, but again, it was today. I'm sure they're on their way to the Tri-5 Nationals. He's got other shit to do. So hopefully we'll hear something by Saturday when we do the next news episode. But, he's been in the 5s, 588s, 578s, all that kind of stuff. Just never – he hasn't done it on day 1 yet. So testing, again, like we talked about with Larry, testing is tough because you have so many times where are you ringing your shit out ahead of time, and then you go to make the drive or make the pass, and it just doesn't do what you want. We saw that at Sick Week for him that, he made like a 13-second pass or something like that and couldn't get it turned around in time to come back up and get good temps. So put it in the trailer, and him and Clay Milliken had a great week.
Yep. All right, next up, we've got Dave Schroeder, who obviously dropped the bomb at 6 Summer. Like we were talking, 609 at Byron. He said, "We are happy with how the car is progressing, but we feel that there is still more in it, and we will be testing a few times before we attend Drag Week. Putting the gear vendor back in is very straightforward, and given it's so light and located low and central in the car, it should not require a suspension change. We added 50 pounds on the nose to get the launch right, and we will be relocating our fire bottles to the nose from above the diff so we can hopefully reduce a lot of this. We also have another kit to fire once we get the first 4 happier, which is crazy. A 5th kit.
Dude, bring it on.
Yeah. And so far, he has the quickest drag and drive pass of 26 right now.
Yeah, that's pretty badass too. That's you start looking. I mean, dude, a 609's probably that would put him, I would say, top 5 racer pass. Unique racer, probably top 10 all time pass as far as one racer doing more than one in that mix there. So pretty badass to see that, and especially out of a nitrous car, man. I sure do love nitrous stuff. If we could figure out how to get turbos to do purges, I'd be even more in. But I think you just got to mix them. You got to do nitrous and turbo stuff to get turbo cars to purge. Last car.
Is that what you're telling me I need to do on the Mustang? I need to roll up and have a kit that I just purge, and then all of a sudden turbo noises?
No. You put a 50 shot in the car, and then you use them both. That's what you do. It's on the scramble button that you use every pass.
All right.
And then last update here, we have Bryant Goldstone. We were talking to him during the weekend at Havlik's. He had the Javelin out, and they were going through some stuff with it. I mean, the car runs good, did good, ran in the 6s consistently. Obviously, it's not right at the very front where we would expect some of this stuff, but it's definitely a great ultimate iron car. The Corvette, if you guys have been watching and listening to some stuff, he had a fire under the hood that burned into the trans tunnel, took some of the wiring out. They had that struggle at US 131 a couple weeks ago in testing with the Midwest Drag Race Series when they were up there. The carbon on the hood is repaired, and the carbon it's all painted and everything, and then the carbon on the roof is getting a new mold made off of it so he can get a new roof put on. Said that it should be done in time, but the car does need to have some wiring repaired and needs to go back to Devon to do that. So we're, again, you're really looking at like a month here where can they get it down there? Can they get it fixed? Can they get it back in time? And he said, if the car's not 100%, he's not bringing it. He said, I'm ready for that thing to go real fast. So we'll see. I don't know. We've got a month. We've seen those guys do crazier things for sure, but I'm excited. Again, that's what, let's see, Goldstone, you've got Schroeder, Lutz, Dunphy, Hargett, and Larson. That's 6 cars right there. There's at least one other one that we have been sworn to secrecy with that could come out and do the coolest stuff ever. Schroeder says 4th quickest run, or sorry, Derek Putnam says Schroeder's 4th quickest run overall in drag and drive history, 3rd quickest driver, quickest nitrous by over 3/10. And he was probably the number 2 driver in that situation. So yeah, pretty badass, man. I love it. It's really interesting. I love the nitrous stuff. I love that they are pushing that to that level. Oh,
Brian Robbins here just breaking the news that he just made it to Devon's a few hours ago. So that's
okay.
You're talking about how much time we got. Like that, I would assume that the roof skin can be worked on while the car is at Devon. So if he gets wiring done, we've seen Devon turn some cars around pretty quick. If he gets that wiring fixed, even say by the end of the weekend or something, and he gets it back, that's pretty good time still.
That should be pretty. That should give some time because the car is proven. It's just now a matter of getting it done. And it didn't sound like we didn't go into a bunch of really hard detail on what wiring needed to be fixed, but they had a lot of the replacement hard parts like the screens and things like that needed to be done. It's just a matter of now getting in and getting it getting those harnesses rebuilt. And that's the great thing about a guy like Devon that does that stuff all the time is I'm sure that system is really modular. Like they'll be able to, that entire harness, they could rebuild that entire harness and just take it out and put the new harness in, and then
Right.
you go through checking all the stuff. So it's going to be really interesting. I really hope this Corvette's here. I think, again, just like 2025, I mean, Hot Rod Drag Week 2025 was the quickest drag week in history. And we're looking again at a whole other aspect here. And there's tons and tons of cars that are behind these 6 that are very, very fast, especially for their classes. I mean, we saw the Deal Brothers making comments in here earlier. The Phoenix is incredible. I don't know if they're planning to do drag week. I think they've got other plans for the rest of the year. So, I don't know. I'm really excited about drag week is all I'm saying, but we got to move on. We got to get going here. So appreciate Jay Wire and all this stuff. I still haven't got the update from Jay and Brian on their Judgment Day stuff. So I'll hit them up. We'll have an update on that on Saturday. I just want to hear how their single day event went, how much fun it was. Nick Deal says chop liver. Dude, you're not chop liver. 676 at Heads Up Hustle, bro. Getting down with it. That Super Street class is nuts. Okay, we'll talk about other stuff here. Big shout out to Jay Wire and all the team over there. All right, what do we got next here? It's Molly.
We got Driven, and we've got
yeah, lead us into some Driven stuff.
And then we'll wrap up with AFCO and our Havlik's results.
Perfect.
All right. Well, let me get this ad read, and then we'll talk about what we've got left for the rest of the month of August.
Hey, it's Brandon from Fort Smith, Arkansas here. Driven Racing Oil is a performance engine oil that can do it all. GP1 is the ultimate oil for any race or performance application. Whether launching hard at the drag strip and during the extreme heat of off-road and circle track, or pushing the limits in top-fueled drag boats and demo derbies, winning racers choose GP1. Compatible with engines from classic hot rods to cutting-edge race machines, GP1's unique surface cleaning and high-zine formulation ensures superior wear protection, particularly for flat tappet camshafts, while solving issues like cylinder washout with methanol and ethanol fuels. Crafted from the legendary Bradford, Pennsylvania base oil and enhanced with state-of-the-art additive packages, GP1 offers the best in protection and performance.
Hey, listen, if having Larry Larson on wasn't the highlight of the night, look at this. Ned Dunphy himself said, Mike and Eric, if you guys keep hyping it up, I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. Love the passion and excitement. I'm telling you, like, drag week is going to be incredible. I can't wait.
Dude, I wish I had not worn this white shirt out here. I would probably be working on the old truck after tonight. So maybe I'll just take it off. Nobody come by the house. You don't want to do this.
Is this an after-hours show now?
No, we're not recording. We're not showing that one unless people start donating.
Yeah, right.
I'll do it for money.
All right. So Driven Racing Oil here. Obviously, you guys know code DDR10 gets your 10% discount on Driven Racing Oil. Again, I used that engine assembly lube, was fantastic on building the motor for the Mustang. We're going to be reaching out about what kind of oil to run in the Mustang. So again, you guys use that code DDR10, gets you 10% discount. But for Drag Drive Repeat event updates, this is pretty cool. I've seen this here. Did this just happen today?
Yesterday, late yesterday. Yep. Yeah. Dustin Cottle versus Cody Ham. Bro, this is going to be a fun race.
Yeah. And I just saw the picture, I think it was today, of the Unlovable with the paint matching to the male Jeep. Was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, these guys are going to have a blast with this. This is the second grudge race we've got going on during this as well. We've got John Gilman and Jonathan Stonecipher going to be matched up during the event as well. So this should be really fun, man. I'm telling you, the short circuit is going to be a blast. For folks that are out there that are doing the short circuit with us, there are going to be a few spots open up. So if you have not got on the wait list, you need to do that. I'm going to move. Some people want to move from the traditional drag and drive over to the heads up stuff. That's invite only. So if you want to do that, I'm cool with it. You just got to prove that you are capable of really winning those classes. I mean, that's what I'm looking. I'm looking for the absolute best 650 racers, stick shift, and small tire stuff that's out there. And then stuff like this is going to be a blast to me. I'm telling you, it's going to be really fun. And so there's going to be some spots open up. And then the hotel list, finally, dude, This really took a lot longer than I thought it was going to. I've been talking about this for 2 weeks, but the email is going to go out tomorrow with links for booking rooms and then the phone numbers that you can call for the 2 host hotels. I didn't get the second host hotel until I think it was Tuesday, so I just didn't have time to put the email together today. So again, going to be a ton of fun. George Ray's Wildcat Drag Strip, Paragould, Arkansas. If you're not racing in this, please, man, just put this on the list to come down and watch and have some fun on that Saturday, November 7th. So it's going to be a blast.
Yeah, we're only 66 days away from our next single day event, the Route 66 Roundup, and only 86 days away from the short circuit.
Stressed out.
Yeah, which is crazy because the short circuit is one of it's the last weekend of our drag and drive events on the calendar, and
Yeah.
86 days away. We're 3 months away from the end of the season, which is a little bit scary.
Didn't we just start it?
Yeah, feels
Didn't we
like it. And see, and this has been some of the fun stuff with the grudge racing. You and I were kind of messing around with our grudge race that obviously we didn't get to at Havlik's, but seeing this kind of back and forth banter has been fun. With Dustin and Cody here saying, "Look at that slow Chevy love." You really can have a lot of fun with this kind of stuff with these weekend events and grudge races and.
Yeah, he said he'll be seeing my taillights soon. That's funny. Big shout out to Steven Narks, man. He's built this dude, he's been putting parts together for this caddy for a while. And he decided about 2 weeks ago, he said, I'm taking the Cadillac on 2.0. So
Okay. I don't even know about a Cadillac. So
yeah. So we're gonna take some content, and then I think we're gonna let it build up and get all this content, and then drop it just maybe the week or two before Rocky Mountain Race Week, or Rocky Mountain 2.0.
what
So this should be
what
a ton
kind
of fun.
what kind of caddy are we talking?
I'm not gonna tell you yet. It's gonna have to
Jeez.
wait like everybody else. Super cool though, and it's right up my alley with the kind of paint that it's got on it.
So it's patina, I can tell you that.
Yeah. So it'll be a really cool car. It'll be a lot of fun, and should be really interesting. I mean, it's nothing wild. It's kind of in our we've got a proven combo that is going to be mirrored to run in that thing. I mean, if that tells you, kind of an idea of powertrain and things like that. So should be pretty fun.
Yep. So for the rest of the month of August, we've got 3 events left. We've got the Sick Michigan Miles, which starts this Sunday at Mid-Michigan Motorplex. Day 0 is tech and testing, and day 1 racing is at Mid-Michigan. Then we have Dragway Rush, which kicks off next Wednesday, so a week from today. And then we round out the month with Cruise and Lose, which starts next Friday.
Man, I really wanted to go to Cruise and Lose.
Yeah.
It's not going to be able to make it this year. It's too far. But I-29 Dragway, that should be a fun one.
Yep. Also, I see you've got some notes here. I think we skipped over this, but the drag drive repeat updates for the World Championship points, that's going to come out this Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really tried to get it done by the time we got to today, but I'm one event short of checking records and adding all those final touches. So, and then we're also going to cover results for Olympic Streetcar Shootout and Roadkill Nights on the news this weekend.
Perfect.
Yep.
Well, that
and
puts
then,
us. Go ahead.
hang on, just real quick. We'll answer Brandon here real quick. Let me pull this up because I just had it a few minutes ago. He's asking what our schedule is like for the rest of the season. You're doing drag week and hopefully the short circuit. We're kind of trying to figure out how to do that, right? I don't remember how much vacation time you have left.
Yep, my plans right now is drag week. Probably 1 to 2 days of 666 if I can get to the track here in Illinois. Then the short circuit and PRI is kind of my plans for the rest of the season.
Yeah, and that mirrors mine. Obviously, drag week, and then I'm going to do day 0 and day 1 of 666, and then I'm going to do Thunder Valley, Tulsa, and Mocan of Race Week, and then Street Need is on my list. It's a big maybe at this point. The extra money being spent for the rear end really didn't help me there, and then of course Short Circuit and PRI are the events that I will be attending the rest of the year.
Which really, for me, it kind of rolls out with, Drag Week is the last big event of the year for
Mhm.
me. And then everything else is just going to be a couple, 3-day, like 1 3-day event for the rest of the season, once per
Yeah.
month or something like that.
Yep, makes sense.
All right. Well, that is, what are we at? I think 49 events or so for the year.
Mhm.
Again, you can find all of those events on our site, dragdriverepeat.com/events. That'll get you the interactive map, and you can see what's left for the season.
Dude, it's pretty wild. And big shout out to Wild West Dragon Dash because, are you ready for this? They're the only Dragon Drive in Texas this year.
Nice.
No other event is going into Texas or is run around Texas or anything.
That's kind of wild.
It is pretty wild. I cannot believe I didn't put that together earlier. But what happened was I was going through the interactive map and I was looking for somebody had messaged asking for some information or something. I can't remember what they were asking for. And I was scrolling down through and I looked and I was like, why is there only one dot in Texas? And dude, it's because it's Wild West Dragon Dash. So
Dang.
hit them up.
All right. Well, I think that leads us into our last segment of tonight, which is the AFCO Racing segment, where we'll cover the winners of the Hot Rods by Havlik's Fastest Streetcar Shootout.
For sure. All right. Racers know when you want performance that wins, you want AFCO. From shocks and suspension to cooling brakes and more, AFCO Racing has been helping teams go faster for over 30 years. Built by racers for racers, check out the AFCO Advantage and follow them today on social media for the latest in performance parts. AFCO Racing, built to win. Dude, I had so much fun at Havlik's. I know that's pretty much what we've talked about for the last 2 weeks, but damn, I had a blast. It was really fun. Jonathan Sumcipher called me out on this today. He said, you like the hard shit more than you should. Because the correct answer for the rear axle would have been to find a local rear end shop and have them rebuild it.
Yeah.
That was the answer. Okay.
But here's the thing, just like you talked about with Larry, when you're in that day 4, you just drove how many hours and that happens and
Yeah.
you got there late, like, I'm not saying we made the wrong decision or the right decision, but like, at that point your brain is just going, what do we got to do to get this put back together, right?
Yeah.
And you checked measurements and everything and found a rear end that would, at the time, we thought was going to work. It was the right length and everything, and boy, it worked, but it took a lot of work for us to get that where it needed to
Yeah.
be.
Well, and the hardest part I feel like is I had not done any of that kind of stuff in the past. I haven't done a ton of Dragon Drives, and the two that I did in the cart, both years it broke, and we didn't fix it because it was so late in the week. There was no way to get a transmission in the cart, get one pulled from a car in the cart, and back to Oklahoma City in time. So we weren't going to be able to do it there. And I don't remember what the problem was the first time. I think the first time we didn't finish because I ended up saving Jonathan Sumcipher. We had to drive back to Tulsa to get the truck and trailer. So, that first event set the tone of like, hey, but he was working on that stuff, like I was just driving, but we drove almost 800 miles that day. But it is true, like what you're saying, like I showed up late. I was already so flustered, and we had to have a plan by Thursday morning. And in the post I made, I said, "Hey, anybody got anything?" And nobody came to my, said, "Hey, won't you find somebody to rebuild it?" Because I probably would have been like, "Oh, hey, that's not a bad idea." But I wasn't even thinking that because I was immediately like, I need to find a rear axle just to swap this out because we need to do it fast. What fits? what is going to be readily available, and that's where the 99 to 06 rear end came from, because the width is right. That's the problem with that stupid truck. And I thought, man, we'll just weld some spring purchase on this thing, we'll be fine, and we weren't.
Correct.
So, but to update everybody that's been following that along, we have a full video that's coming out. Brian's got it's in my queue to watch tonight, for editing purposes and all that stuff. And so once I get that done, he makes a few changes. We'll have it out. But essentially, it should have been way easier than what it was. I thought we could just weld some spring purchase on and go. Definitely not the case. A lot of shit in the way, a lot of stuff, much harder than it should have been. But since then, my brother and I have decided we're going to go ahead and run that rear axle in the truck instead of rebuilding the one that came out of it, just simply because of cost. And I'm changing over to a new frame at the end of the year anyways. So I don't want to spend 12 or 1500 bucks on this axle when I can spend 300 on the one in there. So we're going to have some more footage that'll come from that. But again, here I am. I haven't worked on it this week at all because I've been trying to get caught back up and get ahead. And then tomorrow, I'm trying to get at least it pulled down to where I can get it, worked on and get centered back up, get everything figured out. Because shortening a drive shaft's $150 instead of having a whole new drive shaft made of $400. Got to get brakes and all that kind of stuff. So I got to get to work for that, because I don't want to run into the situation where we're up against the wall again, where I've got to make hard decisions and spend too much money. So, the thrash before you end up at an event, because I'm coming back in the old truck to drag week, dadgummit. That's what I want to do. So anyways, updates there. So let's run through winners of the class, and we'll kind of tell some stories about some of the drag and drive guys. I'll let you get us kicked off.
All right. First class here, the Quick Performance Nostalgia Outlaw was won by Michael Stanley. And second place was Bruce Polos. I never remember how to pronounce it. Both super cool cars, by the way.
Definitely. Love Bruce's burnouts. Bro, that guy will go 600 feet. He ain't scared at all.
Correct. That is 100% correct.
Yeah. And then Annette Summer Racing Exhibition Shootout. Keith McCoy took the win in that one over Thomas Heatley.
Mickey Thompson Tires and Wheels Pro Street was won by Glenn Hunter. And second place was Nick Cryer. I actually kind of forgot about this until just now. Nick didn't make the final round, so be curious to reach out and see what happened, because he was in the staging lanes for that finals, and then when Glenn came up, I saw them wave off and that just let him run a single run. So definitely probably have to reach out and kind of see what happened to that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, let's do that. I'll do that tonight, or you can do it tonight or whatever. Hot Rods by Havlik, the Nostalgia Pro Street, one of my favorite classes. This is cool. Mike Mackey takes the win in that one, followed up by Rob Seaton in one of the nicest blue Camaros. It's in this shot here, I think. Yep. Man, that car is so nice.
Yep, that was a good race, too.
Mm-hmm.
The Larson Race Cars 10-5 Outlaw was won by Jerry Kniesel over Will Fair, which was another great race.
Yeah, dude, nitrous on turbo stuff, man, I'm all over it. And Will Fair, third overall at Drag Week 2025 is pretty badass.
Yeah.
Racetronics USA Super Street class. This is just again a heads up class. Sam Kalilo in the Grand National, and then Kyle Morris in the small block Ford powered Mustang. Dude, two drag and drive guys battling it out in a regular heads up class.
Yeah, and something happened. Again, not sure what happened to Kyle on that pass, but I don't know if he spun the tires or shook the tires, but he got out and was out of it pretty quick after that.
Yep.
The Driven Racing Oil True Street was won by Bill Schwartz. Obviously, the beautiful Chevelle, which if I remember correctly, he actually lost to CJ Durbin, but he ran too quick. He had an 850 cage and ran like an 846, which put Bill back in it. And then Bill ended up going on to finish and win it, which is awesome to see. Obviously feel bad for CJ, but that's the way it goes sometimes. Second place in this one was Brad Ray.
That's awesome. Great Lakes Racecraft Naturally Aspirated Shootout. Our boy, Randy Fuller, taking him down. Man, it was awesome. He took on Chris Roscoe, and Chris Roscoe hasn't done a drag and drive in the last few years, but man, that guy is no joke. I think maybe me and you were in the car, or maybe it was me and Jesse Fox. Chris was on a deserted, uh, it wasn't a truck, like a truck parking deal on the side of the road one time, tearing the heads off of that Camaro on a drag and drive. I think it was Drag Week 22, maybe.
Yeah.
So he big dude, badass.
Yeah. And Randy Fuller, that Mustang, obviously Ed Enzer's old car, which I don't know. Did you talk to Ed at all at Havlik's? He was there.
Yep. Yeah, I can't stay away from that guy. He's probably tired of me.
That car is just so nice and it sounds amazing.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Next up, the Delta Pag Quick 8 Drag and Drive Big Tire, won by Larry Larson over Joe Barry.
Dude, this was a final that was badass.
Yeah.
I don't remember who Joe Barry ran. I think Joe Barry ran Nick Cryer. No, maybe Joe drew a bye. I can't remember. Or maybe Joe Barry raced Tom McGilton, and that's I think when Tom blew his stuff up. But this race was really cool because it was these guys are OGs. Like, Joe had done so many events back in the day. Larry done so many events back in the day, lined up side by side. I made a couple videos of it, and man, it's just really cool to see that kind of stuff go down. And of course, that's the pass where Larry ran a 620. Or 617. It was badass to watch that thing go, and it just looked. I hate to say easy, but it went straight. It just did its job. Rocky Mountain Race Week Quick 8 Drag and Drive Small Tire, taken by our boy Glenn Hunter over Kyle Morris. Dude, this was a pretty good race here. Glenn, obviously the car that had the advantage for sure, out ahead by more than a second if you're looking at ETs. But Glenn Hunter took the win in that one as well.
Yep. And the Drag Drive Repeat All-In Drag and Drive class. This one's kind of cool. The same two cars that were in the Larson Race Cars 10-5 Outlaw, except for they flipped places. So Will Fair won this one over Jerry Kniesel.
Yeah, pretty badass. And it's cool to see our name on that too. So big shout out to the Havliks. They put on a hell of a show this time. Quickest in a big block, Randy Fuller. Quickest in a small block, our boy Chuck Sorensen, bro. Love that car. Little black Valiant, just does what it needs to do, man. It ran great all weekend.
Yep. The Shot Racecraft Quickest Pass went to Larry Larson, as well as the Shot Racecraft Fastest ET also went to Larry Larson.
Oh, yeah. And then the Mickey Thompson Best Burnout, Greg Sanford. Yeah, which he earned that. Dude, I think he went to 700 feet.
Yeah. And then the Mickey Thompson Tire Best Wheelie went to none other than Aaron Gerling, and that crazy wheelie, which obviously did not end up well, unfortunately. But yeah, big wheelie out of that thing.
That's not the wheelie.
That is not the wheelie. But what's cool is this is the wheelie that he did after he crashed and fixed the car and came back up to continue running and still did a little wheelie. He didn't do any big wheelies after that last one.
No. And he said he typically takes the trailer hitch out, but had left it in this time. He said, man, it's drug the bumper a lot in the past. He said, and that keeps it pretty straight. He said, with having the trailer hitch in there, it just sent it to the right and he just couldn't get it reeled back in. Almost saved it. I wasn't there for the pass. I think you were definitely up there because you have some pictures of it. So big shout out to them, man. Talk about overcoming some adversity there and putting that car back together. You would be shaking pretty. I know I'd be shaken up really bad if that had been my car in my situation. And then, you go back to the pits and your buddies are like, dude, it's really not that bad. We could probably fix this, and then you're like, what? And then you work your ass off for the next 15 hours getting it ready to go. So good job to him, man. It's really cool.
Yeah, I would definitely need somebody to tell me that because I'm sure my head would not be in it after something like that.
No, for sure. And they're selling shirts. So if you guys are looking for stuff, look up Aaron Gerling, Gerling. They're selling shirts on their Facebook page to kind of help, fix his car. I mean, he's going to fix it and race it again. And this car's badass. I love it. He's a great dude too.
Yeah.
And his son helped us a ton on Thursday night.
Yep.
Friday night. One of the two, we pulled the axle out.
Yep. We still got a couple more classes here.
Yep. Rob Sheasley Trucking 850 Index, our boy Dustin Peterson, my drag and drive daddy, helping make sure I stayed alive, and we had all the tools we needed, man. Big shout out to him. He won that class with like an 853 or 852 something over an 856. I mean, it was a really close race between him and Bill Shores.
Yep. The Paris Custom Automotive 950 Index, Rich Bellman, Snafu Rich taking that one over Joey Jarks, who I actually saw in the comments here earlier tonight.
Yeah. Dude, another two drag and drive guys out there duking it out. The Rob Sheasley Trucking 1050 Index, drag and drive guys here too as well. Jeff Dugopolsky, man, love that guy, love that car. And then Chuck Sorensen taking runner up in the 1050 Index.
And the last one here, the Rob Sheasley Trucking 1150 Index, Kevin Hunt over Chris Short.
Man, it was a great event. I had a lot of fun. It was a blast. I can't wait for next year. We are definitely going to get more involved next year. We need more and more drag and drive guys out there. We want to see a bunch of them. The cool thing I think about this setup is it's kind of like heads up hustle. It allows guys to get some heads up time in when they're out there and do that stuff. So big shout out to them. Big shout out to the Havliks for hosting this thing. They do such a great job promoting it. And to have 40 cars not show up and still have that many there, it's pretty badass.
Yep. I didn't get a final number on photos I took for the weekend, so I'll have to get that. I know it wasn't as much as I typically do just because of the amount of time we worked on the truck. But when it came to the final day of racing, I did leave you for a little while and let you work on it by yourself while I went and got elimination. So definitely still have a ton of photos to come. Again, I posted a bunch of teasers on my personal Facebook, and everything going forward will be posted to albums on Drag Drive Repeat. And as I complete those albums, they will go on to the Pixie Set site and will be available for purchase. So those should be coming pretty quick. I'm going to finish up Havlik's, and then I'll jump back to Six Summer photos, kind of like I did last year.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Well, Saturday's going to be a great show. We're going to do Drag and Drive World Champion points updates. We're going to do Olympic Streetcar Shootout results. And we're going to talk about Roadkill Nights because if I saw the post right, Tom Bailey's won the big tire class 4 years in a row.
Oh, man.
So, again, I have to, go through and do all of that research, but pretty badass if I read that right. So, and then Dirty Panda says he's mainly on video. Sorry. I do need to get more pictures done. Yep. His stuff has been incredible. The editing ability he's had has been really, really good. And of course, we should have day 2 out, day 2 coverage from, our drag driver Pete coverage should be dropping in the next day or so as well. So we've already got day 0 and day 1 out. And then, like I said, Brian's finishing up after I watched the rear end rebuild swap, whatever you call that. I'll watch it tonight and we'll get some changes and it should be out tomorrow. So y'all,
Awesome.
Thanks. Yeah. All right, dude, send us out.
All right. Once again, appreciate all of our race car friends for being in here tonight. Everybody that tuned in. Thank you to Larry Larson for jumping on. All of our race car friends from Havlik's Fastest Street Car Shootout that we saw, and all our race car friends that have sent us updates that we talked about leading into Hot Rod Drag Week. Again, appreciate each and every one of you guys. And finally, can't do everything we do traveling to Havlik's, traveling to Drag Week if it wasn't for this list of sponsors. So once again, thank you to Summit Racing Equipment, Deechworks, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Howard's Cams, J-Wire Solutions, AFCO Racing Products, Performa-Built Transmissions, Car Change 3D, Low Dollar Motorsports, Power Tube TV, and Racing Junk. And we will see you guys on Saturday morning.
Later.